proposes to her, what would have been of her faith? But she said yes, and it was possible for us to be saved by Jesus. And so she has played a very great role in the history of salvation. So we cannot talk of salvation without mentioning the name of Mary. A very humble woman. A woman that does not look unto herself, to do not consider herself first, she considers others first. And this is the woman that we need to look to as parents, as mothers for that matter. This woman knew her son. She knew the potentials and the gifts of her son because she trained her child. She trained him in the ways of God. She trained him in the ways that will lead to God. And so she was a good mother because she did what a woman should do. She did not just allow the son to walk anyhow, and she is not that type that will not have concern for the child. Whatever the child does, for her, it's okay. But she makes sure that the child is trained in a proper way. And she knew the potentials and the gifts of this child. She knew what the child could do. She knew what the child has. How many of us parents will discover the gifts that our children have and then begin to lead them to realize the full potentials of those gifts? How many of us will detect a particular gift in our child and then begin to encourage that child to realize that gift in his life or her life? Mary is an example who saw that potential in Jesus, and she encouraged Jesus to realize the full potential of those gifts. And that is what we have seen today. So she was in that wedding, and there was going to be a trouble in that wedding. And because she has concern, first of all, for the people, not for herself, but for the people, she went to that son of hers. The son was the means and the possibility of changing the situation. And said, their wine is getting finished, so you need to do something. Otherwise, there will be a disgrace. The bridegroom will be disgraced. So you must do something. And that is what she told him. And Jesus said, my time has not come yet. And she has not questioned him any further. But instead will tell the servants, do whatever he tells you, because she knew that he was going to do something. And whatever that he was going to do will have to involve the servants. And so the servants should be ready, because Jesus would tell them something in a very short time. But if Mary knew that Jesus had these potentials and gifts, she has the potential of turning water into wine. She has the potential of multiplying bread. She has the potential of doing many, many things. Why did Mary not ask Jesus to do it for her? She could have said, no, you just multiply whatever I want, and then you can multiply it for others. She could have said, like the woman Jesus met at the well, give me that water, and I will not bother myself to come and fetch water again. She could have said, give me enough bread, multiply enough bread for me, so that I cannot go to work. I just sit down and enjoy, because you are my son. She could have said that, but she did not say that. But she said it for the people, so that people can have a better life, so that the life of the people can be improved. She did not consider herself, she considered the people. And so she will teach us a very great lesson, that concern for others is the beginning of that miracle we are looking for. The miracle we are looking for is the concern and the love that we have for people. And if we do not have concern for people, we can go from one place to the other, and we cannot realize whatever we are looking for, because that love for people is not there. Love for neighbor is not there. And Jesus told us the summary of the whole law is about love of God and love of neighbor. You look at our society today, so much trouble, so much confusion, so much wars, killing, hatred. Why? Because people are not concerned for others. Everybody is concerned about himself or herself. Everybody looks inward. But the gospel message today tells us that we need to look outside. You look at the interests of people before we can look at our own interests. If we are to live according to the gospel message today, there cannot be any war. There cannot be any hatred. There cannot be any jealousy among men, because we are concerned about the welfare of others. If you have concern for the people, you have great miracle in your life. And there is no greater miracle than the miracle of having concern for others, showing love to others. Mary could have looked inward. She could have closed her eyes from what was going to happen to the bridegroom, but she never. She was just an invited guest. But she never looked at her own interest, but she looked at the interest of the people. And she pleaded with the son, do something to change that situation, to alleviate the suffering that was coming the way of this man. And he did something. Do you have concern for others? Do you have concern for your neighbor? Do you have concern for your brother and sister that you meet on the highway? Do you feel sorry about the pains of others? And are you touched when people are crying? Are you moved when people are going hungry, thirsty, they have nothing to eat, they have nothing to drink? Are you worried about that situation? As a Christian, you should be worried, because we are meant to be the light of this world. And as light, we must bring peace and joy and happiness to others. And that is what we are called to. And Mary is that perfect example that we can look to. She has shown us that bright example. And that is why she has not regretted having concern for others, because she has been found blessed among all women. She has been found most blessed. Why? Because she has given herself out for others. So the happiness of people, the happiness of the neighbor is her concern. What about you? What is your concern? Is that concern of yours limited to you alone? Or do you have concern about the other people around? So much disturbance in our African continent today, because we do not want people to prosper. But the gospel tells us that, the first, second reading tells us that God has given each and every one of us a gift, and that gift is meant for the community. So if somebody is blessed with something, why jealous of that person? Why do you want to look for the downfall of that person? Mary never looked at the disgrace. She did not just stand and say, let that disgrace come upon this man and he will know how much it means. No, she cannot withstand that. She interceded. And that situation was changed. An awkward situation that was coming the way of this man was changed to a pleasant situation and a glorious and a happy situation. Because when they drank the wine, they were happy. And they wished to have that wine from the very beginning. It cannot come from the beginning because it's given by Jesus. Unless you have Jesus in your life, you cannot have that wine. And so that situation was changed to a situation of gladness. Because somebody has concern for the people. And all what she desires is for the good of the people. And indeed the people receive that good. Because that good can never avoid coming when it is a genuine wish that you have for the people. So we need to be that people of light. And that this world should experience our light. And that light is the good things that we would do in this world. And that light is the concern that we have for the people. And that light is the